Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, last week we were at a super speedway, but this week it's an entirely different animal as we get set to bring you flag to flag coverage of another edition of Roughneck Racing. Good evening and welcome to the virtual Iowa Speedway, where we're going to go 150 laps here tonight on the iRacing service. So Talladega last week for the All-Star event. It was a good one. If you missed that, make sure to go back and check it out. But this week we're back to more of what we're used to. Short track racing under the lights. Iowa Speedway, well known for its remodel and It's changes there in turns 3 and 4, setting up some great passing. Very similar to Richmond International. I'm having a complete miscue here with my iRacing ATVO, and everything just broke, so I'm getting everything fixed in the background here. But Wagoner's Welding here tonight, the main sponsor for Roughneck Racing. We'll take a quick look here at the schedule. Not a lot of racing left. We've got 4 races left to go here, including Iowa. It's on the Auto Club, New Hampshire, and Homestead to end the season out on February the 5th. Race analysis for tonight: 150 laps, 40 mile per hour pit road speed limit, 1 fast repair, 80% fuel, and of course, as always, on that iRacing fixed setup. But let's take you trackside now. Get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole tonight, it's Dale Adamson with a 23.177. Chris Ramsey will start to his inside, or outside rather. Row number 2 belongs to Brian Hennings. Jimmy Pyland will start in the 4th position. Matthew Barker and Jeff Scott will start in row number 3. Then row number 4 belongs to Benjamin Richards. Johnny Hurst will start in 8th. Larry Fairman and Wade Palmer, 9th and 10th position. That's rounding out your top 10. Ty Rafford will start in the 11th position with Edward Fiedler in 12th. 13th, Doug Wagner with Tim Richardson in 14th position. 15th, Renee Hasp. I apologize, Reed. Okay, Chad Hawkins in 16th position. Justin Hollings, Ryan Hunter will round out your field. Renee Hasp, I met that guy like 1,000 times. I don't know why I still do that. Put an A at the end of it. So here we go from Iowa Speedway. 150 laps, about 129 miles. So pace truck pulls off. We're live and racing in Newton, Iowa. Got some contact back here deep in the field. Looks like Wade Palmer and Chris Ramsey going back and forth. This truck's very loose. It looks like Adamson will lead lap number 1 from the pole, but 2 spots already gained for Jeff Scott on the move. Started back in 6th, has already moved by on the inside of a couple different trucks. You got a truck falling quickly, and that's the 13. Chris Ramsey is already down 6 spots here, starting to regain traction now, maybe saving those tires. You got a truck around in the background. That's Larry Fairman, and everyone able to avoid it. But that's going to be a caution here on lap number 4. Right out of the gate, some handling issues for some of these trucks. Let's take you back on the V-Speed Instant Replay. Take a look at what happened to Fairman. We saw a few of these drivers struggling with handling in practice. So I'm not surprised here to see this off of turn 4. This is one of the more trickier exits in stock car racing. Just because it's so deceitful, you have to float up towards the outside wall. Gives you the sensation that you're going to hit that wall, but it's really the only way. If you put more wheel into it, with the amount of throttle you need to get out of that corner, it's very easy to send it sideways. We'll ride on board here. As you see, it's unpredictably loose. Easy to overcorrect. Catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. So down pit road here for the 99. Probably going to use that fast repair this early. I would have tried to repair as much of that damage as possible. We're only 4 or 5 laps into this race, but maybe Larry Fairman feels that the pace of that truck will be too slow. Very easy to go a lap down here as well if you're under power. So for Fairman, I hope that nothing else happens. Statistically speaking, as far as V-Speed and their broadcasts go, Iowa's been one of the longest races we've broadcasted and one of the shortest. We've had leagues that have adjusted their lap counts accordingly because the season prior, Iowa had a lot of cautions, and then they turn around and have a clean and green race all the way through. Race went about 1.5 hours for a 50% length. That was pretty incredible to watch. Here tonight, caution 1 comes out on lap number 4. Dale Adamson still your leader. Ryan Hennings has moved up to the 2nd position. Jimmy Pylan up a spot. 2 positions gained for Jeff Scott right there out of the start. Passed about 2 trucks and 2 laps there. We have 5 positions gained for this driver right here. It's Ryan Hunter in the number 27. He's starting in 12th. Light should go out on the pace truck this time by. And it looks like the 46 is going to elect to start on the outside for this restart. Another portion of this racetrack that is very difficult. The entry to turn 1. If you enter too high, there's a pretty nasty bump up there in the 2nd to 3rd groove and really upset this truck's handling. Send you towards the outside wall if you're not careful. The front splitter on these trucks will just bottom out on the racetrack, and essentially you're driving a bobsled for about 30 to 40 feet. If you're not prepared for that, it will also upset and spin this truck out. We've seen it before where drivers get pinned up on the outside. A driver will kind of dive bomb into one trying to get a pass off, and the guy up on the outside will end up hitting the wall. There's a lot of ways to get around this place. It's just that 70% of them are the wrong way. Second time today, pace truck out of the way. And here we go back, live and racing from Iowa. Ryan Hennings already peeking to the inside. Is going to get a decent run here off the exit of the corner. Jeff Scott is looking for another position on the high line into 3. And the momentum down there for the 29 of Pilot is just enough to keep the position, but not enough to clear out of turn 4. Jeff Scott's going to try the high line. This is what we were talking about earlier. That bump up on that high line could upset this truck. He's going to get a good entry and hold on to it. 29 of Pilot keeping him honest, though. Still door to door. A little pinch there. To try to get this exit, he will clear, and Jeff Scott up to 3rd. 3 positions gained already. And I think we have Johnny Hurst here losing a lot of positions as well. We were talking about the 13 earlier of Chris Ramsey. He's since settled out in 6th spot. But here for Johnny Hurst, started in 8th, is all the way back to 14th. Not sure if there's a problem with the handling of this truck or maybe just a bad restart. It's unfortunate, whatever the case may be. Tim Richardson stuck up here on the outside. They were almost 3 wide there into 1 and 2 briefly. 84 to the inside of Chad Hawkins. Richardson also was on the move, but now starting to fall back. Trying to hang it up there on the outside and get back into the top 10. There's a fan favorite, Doug Wagoner. Main supporter and admin of this series. Running in 8th position, getting very loose off of 4, though. Curse of the camera. Might have got the 30 car. And fall back to 10th spot. He had worked his way up to 8th position. To the inside of Benjamin Richards, who's on the move, trying to get back where he started this race in 7th position. Looking to the inside of Wade Palmer into 3 and 4. Will hold it down there. Great exit. Gets a little loose. Pulls it down pretty well there. Nicely handled to get the run on Wade Palmer. Just has to get it a little bit more clear. And he will. Down the backstretch. Back to 8th. Looking up front, Dale Adamson has gapped 2nd spot Brian Hennings by half a second. Continues to grow that lead. Very high entry here. We're watching how Dale Adamson gets around this place. A little unorthodox. A lot of drivers like to dive it low into one. Right on board here with the number 46. Watch this entry into turn 1. And just like that, he makes a liar out of me, taking it a little bit lower on the entry. High line through 3 and 4. Innings is keeping him honest. He's not maybe a 10th off a lap. That time by a little bit faster than Adamson by a few hundredths of a second. Could be sitting back saving tires a little bit as well. I know this high line through 3 and 4 is bad fast, but it does burn the tires off. And for drivers like Hyland and Jeff Scott running that bottom line, they could surge back up here in the next 20 laps or so. Get right back up to those leaders. You see 2 seconds on the left-hand side of your screen. That doesn't mean much here in Iowa. The fall off here will be well over 2 seconds by the end of this run. High line faster, burning the right front off of it. Hyland to the outside. Good entry into 1 and 2. Looks like he'll take that spot away from Jeff Scott down the backstretch. Jimmy Hyland back to 3rd. Wagoner under fire. The 3 truck of Johnny Hurst shot out of a cannon. Must have been listening to the broadcast while racing. Lots of wiggles coming out of 4. 3 different trucks getting sideways. Wagoner to the inside of the 27 Ryan Hunter. Hunter had worked his way up into the top 10, is now falling back. Back to 13. Tim Richardson has settled out in the 14th position, but how about that? Johnny Hurst, who had fallen out of the top 10, looked like he was going the wrong direction, maybe just saving a little bit of tires, maybe made a mistake. To the inside now, Chad Hawkins for that top 10. So these trucks look like they've settled out a little bit here. Little door touch there from the 3 to the 84 as they go into turn 1. Hurst buries it deep into the corner. It's enough drive off that he can clear the 84 and officially into the top 10 for the 3. The 84 actually tags the entry wall into 3. And that'll seal the deal. The 3 can just pull away. Moving a little bit further ahead in the 4th position. You got Jeff Scott starting to lose some ground to Jimmy Hyland. Slowly creeping into this picture, though, is Matthew Barker in the number 96. Started in 5th and has kept it there the entirety of this first quarter, or first 5th of the race. '96 looking pretty strong. And as of the last lap by, has ran consistent 24.1s. As the leaders start to lose a little bit of that time. Best lap time on the racetrack belongs to this guy right here, a 23.132. Last time by, almost in the 24s. We'll see this time around a 24 flat. Brian Hennig's about a tenth off of that, but has kept 0.6 the gap on board with the 74. It's a really good run out of turn 4 there. Looks like Hennings has figured out that corner. And Adamson's starting to struggle a little bit, but too deep of an entry into 1 and 2. Might consider backing that one up just a little bit more if you're Hennings. Want to maintain, if that's your worst end of the racetrack, you want to try to maintain that. Hennings has got 3 and 4 figured out, hopefully not overdriving it to try to catch up, but he is slowly reeling in the 46 of Adamson. The tires are starting to equalize. Hennings just a little bit tight there on the exit of 2. And it seems maybe not slowing down long enough. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to burn the right front off this truck or not. Off the back end of Adamson. Hennings was catching. Now starting to lose a little bit of that ground. Rides the seam on the high line. It's back up to 4/10 now. You can see right there, Hennings just on the throttle a little bit earlier, but it's actually burning off that right front. He's pushing up the racetrack to the outside a lot earlier than now Adamson is. And Adamson has adjusted his line in 3 and 4. Got to give him that dirty air bubble once Hennings caught up, got within 3/10. We continue to watch that battle and see if Hennings can catch back up. Deeper in this field, though, Wade Palmer, Johnny Hurst. Hurst has gotten around for 9th spot. Wade Palmer maintains a top 10 right now. Passing going on back here with Wagoner, Hawkins, and Richardson all on top of each other. This is 11th through 14th position. Larry Fairman, who had that self-spin on lap number 4. That's settled out now. Can look to the inside of the 2 of Richardson. Forward position. Way down to the bottom here in 1 and 2. Richardson has the 84 to the inside here for the 12th spot. They both get a little loose off the exit. Coming by for lap 36. Would guess to see these trucks down pit road somewhere around lap 50. Lap 50 to lap 60. And I'm not sure if these drivers can stretch the fuel out enough to go one stop. So they might commit to splitting this race into thirds. Have to wait and see what those numbers look like here. Hennings trying a much higher entry into 1 and 2 now. Almost, yeah, it does touch the wall there. pushing it a little bit too hard. Again, that right front is eventually going to give up, and you're going to find that outside wall. Back on board here with the 74. You can hear him on and off the throttle, just trying to find a spot where that truck's going to rotate. But at this point, tires are hot. Track is hot. And Adamson has been able to maintain that gap every time Hennings has rolled him in. That might be partial to why Hennings continued to drive aggressively. Thought maybe he was going to catch the lead. Adamson almost toying with him at this point. He's keeping it right around 7/10. Jimmy Pilen, one spot gain, maintaining a top 3 on an island all by himself. 2 seconds separate him and the leaders. About 1 second in front of him to Brian Hennings. Last time by, he was about a 10th faster. He's matching pace with your leader. That time by, the fastest truck on the racetrack on your screen. Matthew Barker is beginning to reel in on Jeff Scott. Looking for that 4th position. Last time by, Barker was 3/10 faster than your 4th place driver, Jeff Scott, in the number 38. Still 2 spots gained here for Jeff, and he's been able to keep that truck clean. The Uncle Buck 38. Still trying to run that low line. Not seeing that too much here from the rest of these drivers. High line seems to be the way to go for the lead 2. But Pilen has caught up to Brian Hennings. Hennings maybe clips the wall. Here comes Pilen for 2nd spot. First pass we've seen here in a minute in the top 5. It's going to come on lap 45. Pilen gets really loose. Hennings follows him up into the wall. Mistakes were made there. Jimmy Pilen, though, is going to pull away. Hennings has burned the right front off of that truck. And I think right now Hennings is just thinking about pit road. Looking here in 7th position, Chris Ramsey, driver we were talking about earlier. He has been contested by Benjamin Richards, who's on the move. Richards did an excellent job saving his stuff, and now he's starting to pick apart this field. He's one of the faster trucks on this speedway now. 24.6 last time by. And looking to pass for 6th spot. It's going to be tough, but to the inside again here. Remember, Ramsey had went the wrong way and surged and settled in that 6th position, but still down 4 from where he began. Richards not able to complete the pass. We'll go back to the drawing board here into 1 and 2. Lap 50 about to be underway. Who's going to be the first takers down pit road? No one has elected to come in just yet. Jimmy Pilen, the fastest truck on this racetrack, trying to tear away that lead. Dale Adamson, 1.8 seconds ahead of the 29. Who's going to blink first? Does Dale Adamson force the hand of these drivers next time by? This is the window we were talking about, from lap 50 to lap 60. Wade Palmer down pit road. The 84 of Chad Hawkins in as well. So 2 takers here on lap 52. Palmer hits the box perfectly. And there's Dale Adamson, still out on the racetrack. How far is he willing to stretch this run? On an island all by himself. Pass to the inside. Jeff Scott looking for a top 3. He'll get it into 1. Hennings has fallen back to 4. Matthew Barker is caught up, looking for the 4th position. Might be able to snatch it away. Out of 2, gets to the inside, a good look down the back straightaway, and a dive into 3. Hennings going the wrong direction. Was competing for the lead here at one point. Crossover move out of 4. He's going to fight back on Barker into turn 1. Keeps him up on that high line. Forces him up the racetrack a little bit. Gets back to his outside, and Hennings has to settle in the 5th spot. Would consider coming down pit road here, try to mitigate some of this damage. You're going to need a second cycle here to get new tires and try to conserve them a little better than last run. A lot of these drivers are finding that out. Here's some side-by-side as the 43 of Wade Palmer, a lap down, goes by. Benjamin Richards has been working on Chris Ramsey for quite some time now. He has Johnny Hurst to the inside. Hurst almost gets into the back of him there. Out of turn 4, Richards got really tight, and the 3 truck had nowhere to go. So almost another caution there. The 56 of Richards just tagged that outside wall. Really loose there for the 3. The 84 gets to the inside. Chad Hawkins on fresher tires goes by here. Adamson's still out on the racetrack. Are these drivers going to try to stretch this all the way to one stop? I don't know that they can do it. They're going to have to go about another 10, 15 laps. But the further that they pull this, the more that I believe they can do it. Wade Palmer and Hawkins coming down pit road there on lap 51, 52. You got to wonder if they were just feeling the effects of tire wear and deciding to come back out on a fresh set. Nothing wrong with the strategy of splitting this race perfectly into thirds. That'll put them back down pit road at about lap 102. Adamson 1.5 seconds ahead of Jimmy Pilan as we try to cycle out. Green flag pit stops, and the 99, the 17, Ty Trafford. Heavy contact with Larry Fairman through 1 and 2. This is for the 11th position. Tim Richardson has worked his way into the top 10 just ahead of him. Behrman plays enough defense here. The 17 of Trafford wants that spot. Looking around this racetrack, it's starting to tighten up again here. Hennings is going to bring it down pit road on lap 65. And a very difficult entry here at Iowa Speedway to get onto pit road. Hennings does it clean, though. Great entry. Hopefully can make up some of that lost ground. And falling all the way back to the 5th position and almost falling back to 6th as Johnny Hurst was going by as he hit pit road. But Hennings had the pace in the first 30 laps to possibly snag away that lead. We'll see if Hennings can get back up there in that top 3. Adamson still out on the racetrack. Pyland has it down to 1.2 seconds. Lap traffic becoming a factor. 2 more trucks go a lap down. That was to the outside of the 27 of Ryan Hunter, the 10 of Ed Fiedler. They're going down 1 lap naturally here. 96 of Barker down pit road. Here comes the cycle. They have to make it 10 more laps here to guarantee that they can make it to the end of this race. Adamson showing me that it is possible. If you can make this a one-stop race, it'd be one heck of a strategy call. You see the 3 of Hurst to the inside, passes for 4th. Richards up to 6th. Larry Fairman up to 8th now on the recovery after that self-spin. Barker back out on the racetrack. Able to prevent going 2 laps down here. Chris Ramsey off the pace, coming out of turn 2. Richards goes to the outside, gets up to 5th spot. Doug Wagoner down pit road from the 16th position. Chris Ramsey, another taker into the pits. Justin Hollings in the number 7 finds his stall. The chromed out number 7 hits it perfectly. Or has ran out of fuel and is trying to coast. There he gets it fired up. Thought he had hit his stall, but slowed down a little bit too soon. Here comes Jeff Scott. Jimmy Pyland. Johnny Hurst still out on the racetrack. Dale Adamson on lap 71. Boy, that's going to be close. They saved a lot of fuel, but I don't think it's going to be enough for one stop. Richards still out on the racetrack. He came in and topped off there. One of the drivers that came in during that first caution. Johnny Hurst also had came in. Larry Fairman. But that self-spin is up to 3rd now. This race stays green to the end. These drivers have the best shot of making this. And the caution comes out. Richardson's around. No, that's... not quite sure who that is that brought out this yellow. Looking here on the V-Speed Instant Replay, the 30 of Wagoner had come back out on the racetrack. It was a couple laps down, but this was on fresh tires. wait and see what happened here. Looked like he was trying to get to pit road, maybe here. And the left front broken on the 30 after contact. Behrman got into the side of him, and I'm not sure 100% if that's what brought the caution out here. But that changes the strategy entirely. Benjamin Richards. Johnny Hurst, they get a big break here. And by break, I mean it breaks their race. They were on track to make it one stop and go to the end of this thing. They had the fuel to do it. Now we're at that window. Can you make it? Can these drivers stretch this all the way out? I know somebody's going to try. We saw lap 72, the pit stops for these top 5 drivers. If you can just stretch it that amount one more time, you can make it to the end of this race. Richards, Hurst, definitely have a chance at it here. You see a lot of lap traffic. Gonna get some wave arounds here. Get back green on lap 77. Don't go anywhere. More coverage will continue live here on V-Speed. You're watching Roughneck Racing Truck Series presented by Wagoner's Welding. More coverage will continue on V-Speed right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live at Iowa, the pace truck is going to pull out of the way for the 3rd time today. Johnny Hurst and Benjamin Richards will take him into turn 1. And the caution there right at the halfway point puts us in a situation of can they make it to the end of this race? Very strung out on this restart, but Richards to the outside is going to take the lead over. Briefly there, out of 2, has the high point, and will drive it off out of 4. New race leader, Benjamin Richards. Richards pulls away now, about half a second. Hurst is on the back pedal. We saw that earlier. Richards has got to wonder, he's driving away from this field. Ryan Hunter, Larry Fairman, Ed Fiedler. Richards could run away with this race. It's a lot of trucks for Adamson, Hawkins, and a few others to get by. This has to be consistent. Keep hitting his marks. Pay close attention to what this truck is telling you. Don't want to overdrive your stuff. He continues to stretch this lead out all the way to the bottom through 3 and 4. Hurst is falling back to third now. Has the 84 to the inside. Larry Fairman very loose coming out of the exit of that corner. Here comes to the inside line. Chad Hawkins is 1 lap down, trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Meanwhile, Ed Fiedler has fallen back to 5th spot, but still up 7. 3 wide out of 3 and 4. Through the middle, the 96 of Barker, and a big wreck. The 84 into the wall. And that's going to take out a few trucks here. Ryan Henning's able to avoid most of it. Has some damage in the center, but the 84 of Hawkins totaled and done for the day. A big wreck here on laps 82. Just gets loose, shoots it back up the racetrack, and Richards made a mistake as well. Richards just got bailed out from that, overdriving it, and he makes a mistake. He got loose coming out of that corner, was for whatever reason loose, and then it's just carnage behind him. Ryan Hunter will take over the lead after that incident. It was a multi-car crash between Chad Hawkins, Justin Hollings. Believe the 74 of Brian Hennings was a little bit involved. Ty Trafford. Jeff Scott got a piece of that action, I believe. Tim Richardson has damage down pit road. We had a clean green flag run from lap 4 to lap 72. Now our third caution of the night, third lead change. So Ryan Hunter will take over being the command truck. So while we have the opportunity, I believe this gives us a chance to pull a driver into the broadcast booth. I think for me, I'm going to find the driver of the 29 truck. Jimmy Pilant has been on pace. It looks like you have the long run speed here. You were chasing down Adamson. It looked like it took about 40 laps for you to get it right, and then once you figured it out, you've been one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack.
Is that Brad?
It is.
Hey, Brad, how's it going?
It's going well. It looks like it's going really well for you. I know these cautions have kind of thrown the strategy around a little bit, but still plenty of racing left to do. A little bit under half this race left, and you've got the long run speed to probably get this thing done.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think my teammate Dale Adamson, the 46, and my other teammates are going to make it tough on me, as well as the other competitors. But I feel good with how the truck's been handling, with how I've been racing night. I don't know. We'll see. I expect to be in the top 3 when it comes to the end, but we'll see.
Well, Jimmy, good luck out there. I know that you got a lot of people backing you out there and good teammates, so let's see what you can do with it.
Alright, Brad. Yeah, hopefully I'm talking to you here shortly.
Jimmy Pilant going to restart here in the 3rd spot. Ryan Hunter, the command truck. Have we seen the end of the carnage here at Iowa? It's claimed a few trucks thus far. Chad Hawkins, Jeff Scott, Ty Trafford, Doug Wagoner have damage and are getting serviced on pit road. Green flag is out. We're back underway at Iowa. About 65 laps to go. Side by side for the lead. Here comes Jimmy Pilen to the inside of the 27. A drive off that exit. Not enough this time. Hunter will lead that time by, but a dive into turn 1. And here comes the 46 of Adamson, and we've got a caution. Not sure who that was, but I believe it was Ty Trafford. Yes, it was, out of turn 4. And maybe just a self-spin here. We had some drivers getting loose into 1. Maybe some help here from Jeff Scott. Let's back this up a little bit further. '17 gets loose, self-spins, and Jeff Scott just locks it up to try to avoid it. Wild ride through the grass there for the 35. On board. So another tandem of self-spins on the bottom of 3 and 4, and it looks like that's not the place that you want to get caught down there. Jimmy Pilen had almost taken the lead away from Ryan Hunter. It actually had the nose advantage, but iRacing's going to base it off of that last scoring loop. So the 29 was technically not ahead, had not passed the next scoring line with the nose ahead, and iRacing will give the lead back to the 27 of Ryan Hunter. 46 of Dale Adamson lurking behind here in the 3rd position. Larry Fairman 4th. Benjamin Richards was leading this race. Had a mistake, has fallen back to the 5th spot. Still plenty of action left to go here. From Iowa, you're watching Roughneck Racing Truck Series live on V-Speed. More coverage right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. About 59 laps to go. 58 when they cross the stripe. 59 actually when they crossed the stripe. Jimmy Piland, Ryan Hunter, not a good restart here for the 29. He's going to lose spots. Loses a position to his teammate. And Dale Adamson's going to try his hand at getting around this 27. Piland not able to do it a moment ago. They'll both dive to the inside. Clear there for Adamson. He'll take back the lead. The dominant truck of the day so far. Adamson has the point, and Johnny Hurst is around the 99. And not happy from the 3, Larry Fairman loses it in front of him. And Johnny Hurst picks up some damage. Back on the instant replay. We're going to go 3 wide here through the corner. Richards down all the way to the bottom. Fairman gets up into the 3. And Hennings gets a piece of it as well. Looking there, the 3 wide, maybe upset the 99, changed his line a little bit there and got into the 3. And it was wrecking from there. Tough to avoid it there in the entry of turn 3. Everyone on the brakes, hard to make maneuvers. Ryan Hennings did pick up a little piece of damage from that. He'll bring it down pit road to try to get some of that repaired. We're going to have about 50 laps to go. We're starting to shorten this long run. The 46 of Dale Adamson, who was up front there, has fallen back to 7th position after coming down pit road. Looks like topped off with fuel here. Try to make it to the end of this thing. It's an interesting call, and I figured that these drivers can make it up here in the top 10. They were able to make that first stint around 70 laps, and at this point, I feel that you could pretty much drive it flat out as hard as you want to. Go all the way to the end. This might be a gift to Jimmy Piland. If he can run away with this thing, I think he can get far enough out ahead of his teammate in the 46 of Adamson that he has a real shot at winning this thing. We'll have to pull Adamson in here. See some drivers. Actually, lights go out on the pace trucks, so we're going to leave Adamson up there. But if we have an opportunity with another break, we'll try to pull Adamson in here and see what those numbers are like on fuel. I was kind of surprised to see him come down pit road that time by. Jimmy Piland, Ryan Hunter, Benjamin Richards, Chris Ramsey, and Wade Palmer. Your top 5. Track conditions have cooled off, 69 degrees. Race truck out of the way. Let's go back. Green flag racing at Iowa. Jimmy Piland takes over the lead. Maybe a gift from a teammate. 43 of Wade Palmer is into the wall. And somehow we stay green. Jeff Scott mows by on the outside, almost gets into the back of the 13, who's heavily damaged. Chris Ramsey almost gets ran over into the entrance of turn 1. Jeff Scott picked up about 4 positions there. Actually, Jeff Scott's a lap down. Wade Palmer's still struggling with the handling. And he'll park it down here on the infield grass. Toes to pit road. Benjamin Richards back on offense. He's caught up to the 29 of Pylon. He'll drive to the inside. 51 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Richards gets loose again out of 4 and loses it down to the bottom of the racetrack. No caution this time for the 56 of Richards. And Jimmy Pylon holds on to the lead. Two seconds ahead of his teammate, Dale Adamson. And the 29 is praying this race stays green. Adamson makes a mistake, in my opinion, coming down pit road to top off with fuel. Jimmy Pylon could absolutely run away with this one. Maintains that gap of 1 second over Ryan Hunter. Little connection glitch there with the 29. Hopefully that clears up. Matthew Barker brings it down pit road. Looks like some damage on the 96. Ty Trafford has Benjamin Richards to the inside. Trafford's a lap down. Richards falls back to 6. Edward Fiedler, the last truck, on the lead lap. Tim Richardson up to 4th now, to the outside of Jeff Scott. Jeff Scott on a little bit fresher stint of tires here. Richardson looking like a top 5 day for him. Johnny Hurst in 5th spot. Adamson still 1.9. Might as well say 2 seconds behind his teammate. He is catching up though to Ryan Hunter for that 2nd spot. So for Pylon, he has Ryan Hunter as a cushion, a little buffer there. Johnny Hurst gets loose out of 4. He's going to hit the inside wall. And the left front ripped off of that truck. Another self-spin coming out of the corner. Chased it all the way down the front stretch. The 3 went to the inside of the 84. Got down there on that flat. No, actually comes up into the 84, who's way off the wall. And hits that transition on the apron there. Sends the truck back to the inside. And heavy, heavy damage here on the left front. You can see it there. To try to get a zoomed in angle of that number 3. Left front completely bashed in. Looks like it's affecting the handling a little bit here. Gonna have to nurse it back to health. Jimmy Pylon is catching up to Johnny Hurst to try to put him a lap down, and most likely will with that damage on the 3. Ed Fiedler in 6th position. Quiet day. And sometimes the best strategy is to not do too much. The 10 has ran a consistent line, has avoided the carnage, and now finds himself just outside the top 5. This could be a best finish here at Iowa Speedway. Solid night for the 10. Richardson, a top 5 night in the 4th spot we mentioned earlier. Ryan Hunter going toe-to-toe there a moment ago with Dale Adamson, who's cleared him. And Adamson is still 2 seconds behind after getting around the 27 of Hunter. Has tons of ground to make up and not a lot of time to do it. Approaching 35 laps to go. Dale Adamson coming down pit road. Could have been a mistake. We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But Jimmy Pilot is definitely the truck to beat right now. He had the long run speed in the first stint of the race, started to reel in his teammate. We had that caution, reset everyone. And Dale Adamson has kind of been behind the 8 ball ever since those yellows started flying. He led 71 laps the entire first half of this race, goes to the 46. If Brian Hennings to the inside will try to go and get one of his laps back. Will not be the free pass truck, though. That now goes to the 3 of Hurst, who has just went a lap down. Hennings inevitably going to catch up to him, though. Again, that damage is hindering the 3. Has already burned the fast repair here tonight. Here comes Brian Hennings now out of 4. The inside of 1 and 2, and quick work just like that in the free pass position. Jeff's got another one of those drivers that is a lap down. He's trying to chase down Brian Hennings. The race within the race here as Jimmy Pilot continues to put on a great show. 2.5 seconds now. We wondered if anyone could contest what the 46 was doing. And it took a teammate. Adamson, 2.6 and growing on that deficit. Gets a good entry into 1 here. Can he get the drive off? He will not. It'll go back to 2.6 down the backstretch. Just not getting the drive off of the corner that he needs to make up that massive lead. Richardson has worked his way up to the 3rd position, got by Ryan Hunter. So a podium day starting to shape up here for Tim Richardson. Started in 14th, second biggest mover of this race. That honor is going to go to Ryan Hunter, who started in 13 positions. That doesn't seem correct. I would venture to say that that would be 12. But ATVO is telling me 13, and I just read it out loud. Ron Hennings is catching up to the 29. Into the wall, though. That's not going to help. Stay tuned later on. We're going to have Madness money for Roughneck at Talladega. Set to go live after this conclusion at Iowa. Super Speedway points racing. Top 10. Guaranteed points, and they're in their playoff format now. Jeff Scott back here at 8. Starting to shave away a little bit of that gap to Brian Hennings. Has it down to 2.5 seconds. Hennings starting to get a little tight. Overdriving it again. Trying to get his lap back from Jimmy Pyland in the number 29. 26 laps to go. And Jimmy Pyland 2.1 seconds ahead of his teammate Dale Adamson. Chad Hawkins and Ty Trafford within a couple tenths of each other. This is the closest battle on the racetrack right now, with all these different trucks having the strategies thrown out the window, the damage, and that long green flag run coming to an end. It has shuffled quite a few of these guys out of the picture. But keeping a top 10 here for Chad Hawkins. He's had an up and down night. Has been a part of a couple different incidents here tonight and has had to burn that fast repair. Has since settled in for a top 10 day, but has some trucks behind him that could take that away from him. Benjamin Richards, who has made a couple mistakes here tonight, trying to chase down the 27 of Ryan Hunter. Will go on board here with the 56. Three laps led going to Benjamin Richards tonight. Went up there and challenged for the lead again. 56 has had some speed, and if you could just eliminate those mistakes, could probably be a top 3 truck here. He's going to clear into 1 and get around the 27 of Ryan Hunter. Has Tim Richardson 4 seconds ahead with only 22 laps to go. A lot of ground to make up. We'll continue to watch that on the left-hand side of your screen. Last time by, though, Richardson a tenth faster. This time, 2 tenths faster for Richards. So Richardson a little bit slower in that third spot. In the 56, catch him in time. It's going to need about 3 tenths a lap to get there. That time by, it was only a tenth. Richardson going into turn 3 up on the high line here. 3.6 seconds now, the deficit between third and fourth. Battle for the lead is not shaved down at all. Here comes Trafford on Hawkins. Hawkins gets loose out of 4. This is for 10th position. Both these trucks a lap down. But Ty Trafford wants that top 10. And the 84 Hawkins really loose. It looks like the 17's going to get it for free. Hits the Intimidator button. Moves the 84 out of the way. Still has to clear him here through 1 and 2. Up in the bumps, in the marbles. He'll do it. .4 seconds. Lead starts to grow back out. 16 to go, crossing the line. Highland showing the speed in the second half of this race, has now led 42 laps. Can he lead the last one, the most important one of the night? Richardson's about 3.8 ahead. Looks like he could lock this thing up for a podium finish here tonight. Benjamin Richards maybe has overdrove his stuff trying to catch up to that top three. See V-speed on the visor of that helmet. Get a good look at that racing suit on the 56. That helmet looking good. Approaching 10 to go for Jimmy Pilen, Dale Adamson, Tim Richardson, Benjamin Richards, and Ryan Hunter. The top 10. Pretty sizable gaps amongst all these drivers. 2 seconds separate your leaders in the top three. Richards 3 seconds back, 4.5, almost 5 to Ryan Hunter. And Ed Fiedler an additional 4 seconds out of there. And you have Brian Hennings, who's a lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap. Jeff Scott 1 second behind. And Ty Trafford, who was getting around Chad Hawkins the last time we watched, is starting to chase down Johnny Hurst for ninth. The world's okayest racing driver looks to the inside of the damaged number 3. Couldn't get the drive off of turn 4. Driving deep into turn 1. World's okayest. It's a new one. Gonna clear here for the 9th spot. Trafford takes over that position. Still a lap down, all the way up to Brian Hennings. 6 trucks still on the lead lap. Pilen gets 10 to go. Now 9 to go. Adamson, 2.7 seconds now. Doesn't look like the 46 has anything for Jimmy Pilen. He has ran away with this lead. And very unfortunate that everything fell the way it did for Dale Adamson coming down pit road. I wanted to get a quick word with him and ask him what the numbers were like, if that was something he had to do. Because based on our math in the first stint, we had some pretty solid numbers for what these trucks could do on a green flag run. And it sat somewhere around 66 laps for most of this field on the average, and a few drivers stretching it out to lap 71 without topping off. They had stayed out. Only a handful of trucks that came in during that first caution on lap 4. The rest had stayed out, and it did change the outcome of this race for a lot of drivers. Tim Richardson, Benjamin Richards, that came in and topped off, find themselves in the top 3 after we had that midway caution. So the strategy's thrown completely out the window here today. And you can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. A few drivers missed the call. Mistakes were made here tonight with a few drivers as well. Doug Wagoner out for the day. Larry Fairman, Wade Palmer, and Matthew Barker are also off the racetrack. Chris Ramsey, 4 laps down. Still out there on the racetrack, though, in 13th position. Had a struggle all night long. It started in 2nd spot, but just hasn't had pace outside of qualifying. Fell through the field rather quickly, got caught up in some carnage. has never had the opportunity to recover that. Benjamin Richards just behind him there, looking like a top 5 day for the VRX number 56. Tim Richardson, though, this is the one that really impresses me. These guys that run quiet and solid races, they're going to get what's well-deserved here tonight because of the shake-up and the cycles, just putting down consistent laps and not making mistakes. That's what it takes to get around this place. As soon as you start racing the guys around you, a little bit of a loose moment there out of turn 2 for Tim Richardson, but we're going to get the white flag up in the air one more time around 7/8 of a mile for Jimmy Pyland. Out of turn 2. He's got it sealed up. 2.5 seconds ahead of his teammate Dale Adamson. And out of turn 4 for the final time, your winner here tonight from Iowa, it's Jimmy Pyland in the number 29. 58 laps led, started in 4th, had one of the faster trucks in the long run. And it was plenty for the second half of this race. Congratulations to the number 29. Post-race interviews with your top 3, your final results, and some post-race coverage. You're watching Roughneck Racing Truck Series live on V-Speed. More coverage and post-race right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Iowa. Roughneck Racing has concluded its 150 laps. It was a great race. Enjoyed every second of it. But the dominant driver of the day in the first half does not get the victory. It was a quick turnaround at the halfway point. And Jimmy Pyland, after 5 cautions and 5 lead changes, started in 4th. Will come home in the lead. 2.67 seconds. Right ahead of his teammate, Dale Adamson, who started on the pole and led over 70 laps here today. He'll finish in 2nd. Tim Richardson in the top 3 after starting in 14th. Had to gain 11 spots to be there. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. Benjamin Richards will be in 4th position. Great day for him. Ryan Hunter, biggest mover of the race. He'll finish in 5th position. Edward Fiedler, 6th spot. Brian Hennings, first truck a lap down. He'll finish in 7th. Great finish there for Ed as well. Jeff Scott is going to finish in 8th. Ty Trafford in 9th. Chad Hawkins. A lot of mistakes here today, but he'll round out your top 10. Johnny Hurst with heavy damage falls out of the top 5. He falls out of the top 10. Finishes in 11th. Justin Hollings, 12th position. Chris Ramsey, last truck on the racetrack here tonight. Matthew Barker, behind the wall. Wade Palmer, Larry Fairman, Doug Wagoner, and Renee Hasp are going to round out your field here this evening. And with that, it's time to bring drivers up into the booth. We have your 3rd place finisher, Tim Richardson. Tim Hollywood Richardson. It's Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth. Congratulations on this podium finish. I know that sometimes the best strategy is to do nothing at all. Do exactly what you came out here, set your mind, race the track, and you come home on the podium by doing just that.
That was the plan, man, from the get-go. I came in, I was set up for the long run. Thank God that stayed green. If there would have been a caution right there towards the last part of that race, I probably wouldn't be on the podium because I definitely wasn't the fastest truck out there. But being able to save tires and make up that ground and be there at the end, I was having a blast ripping that outside lane, man. That was fun.
Well, it looked really good from our point of view. I know that the line on this racetrack, it's ever evolving, and for a lot of drivers, running the bottom in 1 and 2 is the way to go. It didn't seem like tonight that really much mattered. You could kind of come in a little higher than normal. Did you have kind of that learning curve in the first half of this race to figure all that out?
Yeah, I tested the waters. I'd go down low a little bit, hit the middle of the track, but I just felt the most comfortable with the way my truck was set up tonight, just staying on that top lane. If the faster guys want to go underneath me, hopefully they go on and burn their stuff up, and I'll catch them on down the road. That was the plan.
And for tonight's race, you get up here in the podium, you get up here in the booth. It's, I believe, the 2nd time I've gotten the chance to talk to you here, but we're going on to Auto Club next week. What's in store for us there?
I have no idea, man. Don't have that many Auto Club races under my belt. You might see more of the same. Let's just go out there and just try to be there at the end, have a clean truck, and be on the lead lap and try to contend next week. That's the plan. That's always the plan.
And finally, I know there's a lot of people backing you up here. We've made mention of the sponsors and that awesome paint scheme, but go ahead and shout these guys out that put this number 2 on the racetrack.
Oh, for sure. Well, we wouldn't be here without my my uncle, James Wagoner Welding. He's backed us from the beginning. The second I asked him, hey, do you want to come sponsor some sim racing? He was all for it. So big shout out to him. We couldn't do it without him. And yes, first time I get to talk about this paint scheme, we've got Register Retro. If anybody is familiar with Whatnot, it is a auction bidding site. This is your go-to spot for any retro games, gaming consoles, anything you can think of retro, they've got it. Download Whatnot, check out Register Retro. What's up, Wes Bravey and the shipping department, aka Yard Dog. And big shout out to Mr. Beans, who's watching from up above.
Appreciate your time, Tim Richardson. 3rd place here tonight at Iowa. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
And now that brings us to our 2nd place finisher, Dale Adamson. And at this point, I'm just gonna straight out ask you, you came in and topped off with fuel. Was that a mistake?
Walking into this track tonight, I coming in finishing on podium in 2nd place. That pit strategy there, topping off with fuel, I honestly felt like it was smart to kind of make it there at the end when that caution fell right as soon as I was exiting pit road. I had enough fuel to make it to the end, of course, but I guess I would push my tires a little too hard than I expected, and just kind of couldn't give Jimmy anything there at the end. But he was pulling away, and I'll give him that. He did his darn best, excuse my language, and he put it up there on the podium.
Well, you started out the first half of this race looking like the truck to beat. You were definitely faster than the entire field. Do you think maybe, that teammate was paying attention to what you had going on there where you were leading 71 laps?
Yeah, I honestly felt like when I was leading the 71 laps there from start to 71, I felt like he was, taking notes and memorizing how I was, going in on entry and exit and, figuring out that the middle and top groove were kind of the main line of the track tonight. And it seemed to work out pretty well for the rest of my teammates like Jimmy, Tim, Ryan, Johnny, and the rest of the other people or rest of my other teammates. And seemed like it worked out great for the rest of the team tonight.
Well, that, Dale, I know that this one probably tastes a little funny getting second place after having such a great start to this race, but still a podium nonetheless. And I know that, you have a great team around you. So go ahead and shout those guys out.
All right, first and foremost, I want to shout out Team Roughneck Racing. Those guys are amazing group of guys. I love working with them day in, day out, on and off the track. We throw up practices and work with each other. I want to thank my friends and family for watching at home, and I want to first and foremost thank you, B Speed, for putting on the amazing broadcast for people at home watching tonight. And wish I was sponsored by Hendrick Motorsports, but I'm not. It sucks, but eventually in the future maybe. But other than that, I had
Hey,
fun.
man, I got
Thank
a pair of Hey Dudes that matches that truck perfectly.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, Dale, and hopefully we get to talk to you again. We'll be going to Auto Club, so hopefully to see you there, and appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dale, the Prodigy Adamson, second place here at Iowa, and finally his teammate, Jimmy Pyland, victorious. I asked you the question, did you feel like it was the perfect moment? You got the lead there after that cycle of pit stops and who should pit, what not to pit, cautions, just everything thrown out the window. But you had enough laps there at the end that you could drive your line, race your race. It fit right into your wheelhouse of the speed and your tempo.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, Brad. I was actually telling Dale, I said, if a caution had come out after you had pit there late, and with me not pitting, I said, that would have forced my hand, and I would have had to have pit because as I'm sitting here on start finish line, I am sitting with 0.6 estimated laps left in the tank. So I was definitely sweating if I was gonna make it or not.
Well, and the numbers that we had here tonight were kind of skewed. We had drivers that had dipped down pit road during that first caution on lap 4 and topped off again around lap 6 when we went back green. We had a few drivers that got up front because they had topped off. Do you think that caution at halfway kind of reset the field and put everyone back to square one?
I would say so. I would say it definitely did. I definitely think it reshuffled the field to where it was. Um, yeah, I think that caution at halfway or just over halfway really helped. Because it reorganized the field and stuff. But yeah, I definitely think it helped.
It looked like it fit in your wheelhouse. You come home victorious after 58 laps led. You started in 4th and just kind of turn on the afterburners. Jimmy Pyland, is there anybody that comes to mind that put this truck in victory lane?
I would say all the people at Team Roughneck, James Wagner's Welding, Admin Box. I want to thank all my teammates at Team Roughneck, Dale Adamson, Tim Richardson, Matthew Barker, Ty Trafford, um, all the guys at Team Roughneck. I want to thank my brother, my sister-in-law, my nephews, my buddy Adam, my buddy Dylan, and the other competitors for putting on such a good race and stuff every week.
Well, we forward to seeing you in 1 week's time when we go to Auto Club. Jimmy Pyland victorious. Congratulations on another win this season, and hopefully we get to see you do it again at another venue. We have 3 races left after this, Jimmy, so let's see what you got.
I appreciate it, Brad, and yeah, I'm hoping to talk to you again here in the next week or 2.
Jimmy Pyland victorious at Iowa, and that's going to do it for us here. Stay tuned, though. We have more racing, the Madness Money, on to Talladega, and in just 1 week's time, as we've concluded our race here at Iowa Speedway. Next week, it's Auto Club. Be sure to tune in for that next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for week number 12. That'll be January 22nd on the schedule. So for everybody here at V-Speed, Roughneck Racing, and Wagoner's Welding, Adam Baker in the background, all the things that he does to help make this show, our sponsors of the series, Wagoner's Welding. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week and hope to see you for the Money Madness at Talladega in the trucks. Until then, stay tracking.